watches in themselves are not investments. There are some investment grade pieces, but the majority of watches are not investments.
Facts.
So know why you're buying the watch. If you're buying a watch because you think it's going to appreciate, you have to make sure you do your homework, because majority of them do not. If they're not Rolex, if they're not AP, if they're not Patek, RM, more often than not, they're probably not going to appreciate. And even within those brands, let's be clear, all Rolexes are not investment grade pieces. Here we go. We're back. Man, welcome to the Watchers. Man. It's been a little while, man. It's been so much going on in the background, a lot of exciting developments in the world of the Watchers, man. A lot more to come, so please stay tuned. Without further ado, I'm your host, Rod Dye, and I'm here with man of many names.
Rio the Watcher, what's going on, man?
Rio the Watcher, what's going on with you, man? How you doing, man? How you been?
I'm doing great, man. We got so many things that we're working on in the background, man. And I'm like you just said, that we're excited to have a conversation about and to display to the people.
Man, before we get into it, man, we got a great episode for you today, man. But, man, we got to start out with what's on the wrist, man. Got to start with what's on the wrist. So I already know what you're about to present. So I'm going to let you go ahead and kick us off with the wrist check, man. Yeah.
Right,
what you rocking today?
I got on the True North today. It's a concept piece. Shout out to the homie Rashawn Smith, one half of the Wrist Check podcast. He did something with Hodinky, and he had one on, and I saw it on social media. I reposted it and said, man, I need that. And next thing I know, Shane Russick from True North, he actually was, he DM'd me and said, hey, if you're interested, I'm only making 10 of these. I mean, I've already allocated 4 out. You could be the 5th one. And quick consulting between like you and Rashawn, but I had already in my mind that I was getting it. So I moved forward, and not even maybe like a week later, I was able to get it. I mean, so basically True North is a micro brand based out of California. They kind of master homage watches. As you can see, this is kind of like a Rolex Daytona vintage with a tropical exotic type dial, also known as Paul Newman type of dial. And they have these in steel. I mean, a lot of people know them for their collaboration they did with Eric Wynn for the Uno piece that they did. They call it the Wintona. With Eric Wynn, he's a world-renowned vintage watch expert. And like I said, I just wanted something that it's only going to be 10 of these in the world. So what about you, man? What you got on the wrist today?
So today I have on the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date. Yes, and what's special about this one is this is actually their Hank Aaron edition. So there are, let's see here, there are actually 2,297 versions of this. That's the number of RBIs that Hank Aaron had during his career. So they made a special edition for Hank Aaron, and then they made a special edition for Roberto Clemente well. I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world, to be honest with you. I like the dial.
It's beautiful, man.
If you can see that, yes. And then on the back, it has Hank Aaron engraved on the back, and then it has the edition out of the 2297. So, I love this piece, man. It was I was looking for a piece that was, just a nice piece that I could wear on a daily basis. That's, maybe not a Rolex, something that's more like if you know, you know. I love what Oris is doing. I love the fact that they're an independent brand, and also love the pointer date, complication on the watch as well. As you can see around the dial is actually the their 31 There's 31 numbers around the dial for to represent 31 days in a month. So
yeah.
yes.
So what's going on, man? What are we talking about today?
Oh man, till today we're going to give you guys 10 keys of watch collecting, man. So as you guys know, Rio and I have been on this journey for a while now, for the better part of a year. Without further ado, 10 keys. Key number 1 is to buy what you like. That's the first principle of watch collecting, because it's important. So at the end of the day, it's about what you want, right? Like I said, buy what you like, because you have to enjoy it. When you look down at your wrist, you have to be, you have to own the watch. You have to own your watch. You have to enjoy it. It has to speak to your style. So don't feel pressured. Don't buy into the hype. Buy what you truly like, because at the end of the day, it's your money. And what I've learned is people don't care. People don't care. People do care, but ultimately people really don't care what you have on. So it has to speak to you.
Absolutely.
So even if you can spend, tens of thousands of dollars on a watch, and I promise you, you may not get the reception that you think you're going to get. So you may or may not. I've experienced that. You have to enjoy what you buy.
Absolutely.
And
I think that's bro, you brought up a really good point. When we've just started like collecting watches, right? So at the end of the day, like we get caught up in doing research. Now, out of nowhere, everybody becomes master researchers when they start collecting watches. I don't think a lot of people did this much homework when they were in school, right? But like now everybody is like, they're on YouTube, they're on Reddit, they're on forums, they're inboxing people. They are all social, and everybody wants to reach out and get advice. And I think when you're getting into watch collecting, like I think you should buy the watch that stole your heart first, right? Like I really do, and sometimes it doesn't matter about value, sometimes it doesn't matter the price, because if you really think about it, it's so easy to hop on and hear 10 influencers, recommend the same 5 watches for introductory watches below $1,000, right? And not to say that those watches aren't like good suggestions, but there was a reason you wanted to buy a watch in the first place. Get that then. So
get that.
That's number one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, man. You bring up a good point, because you see a lot of influencers and content creators saying like, these are the 3 watches that everyone should have in their collection. It may be a, Omega Speedmaster, great watch. It may be a Cartier Santos, great watch.
Excellent watch.
But you may not want that, Like I know people who have collection full of dive watches, and that's what speaks to them. I have a business partner who just all he collects is Baume & Mercier, because that's his brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's dope. I think that's so dope. And as I always say, I don't think there's an item in this world that you can buy that makes you cooler. So whether it's, you can go and buy a Rolex, that watch in itself doesn't make you cooler. Now it may start some conversations for you, and understand that completely, but it doesn't make you cooler. It's the person behind the watch. So buy something that speaks to your style, and if you like it, buy it.
I love that, man. Yeah. I love that. I don't think we can say that any better than that. So I'm gonna move to number 2, man. Know your why. Like every watch should have a purpose. Whether it's the design, whether it's functionality, maybe it's a story that you connect with. Why are you purchasing this? Because it gives it more value on the money that you're spending, and it gives you some kind of connection to the watch that you're buying. Now, to be clear, you might just want to watch and spend the money because you just want to buy a watch, and that could be your why, right? But that's a slippery slope that you could go down. So I would definitely say, if I am looking at something, I am trying to, I am learning, for example, the story about this watch, right? That's kind of was important to me. That was like, okay, so, you have somebody who has impact on the culture. I saw it on him. And then immediately after posting on social media, as I'm building my, content platform, I've had a owner of the company reach out to me directly and offer me a limited concept piece. Like that's a perfect white. Now I have to like the watch first, which I did. I was already looking at True North collection. I'm still looking for the Eric Wynn Uno collaboration somewhere on the internet. I'm still looking for that. And I was looking at the steel model, but then, me and you have already had conversations that like I wear gold every day. Right. And it was like, I don't have a gold piece at all, anything of any kind of gold reference. So this was like perfect timing. Knowing your why is going to make you connect with what you're doing. And that's how you create a actual collection as opposed to just accumulating a bunch of stuff.
No, I agree with you. And that's going to speak to one of our latter points in this conversation. But no, I totally agree. Like know why you're buying the watch. If you're buying it because you like it, you want to buy the watch, that's fine. If you want to, mark an occasion, for example, you're traveling out of town, let's say whether it's say it might be a bachelor party. You guys are in the mall, you're at a store or something, you want to watch, like, you know what? I'm going to buy this watch while I'm here. And every time you look at that watch, that reminds you of that specific trip. You and your wife or girlfriend are on a trip and you buy a watch while you're there. Every time you look at that watch, that's going to take you back to that time period. Another thing I wanted to touch on as well, saying knowing your why is, like I said, know your reason behind buying the watch, because I want to speak on something we will make it very clear. Watches in themselves are not investments. There are some investment grade pieces, but the majority of watches are not investments.
Facts.
So know why you're buying the watch. If you're buying a watch because you think it's going to appreciate, you have to make sure you do your homework, because majority of them do not. If they're not Rolex, if they're not, AP, if they're not Patek, RM, more often than not, they're probably not going to appreciate. And even within those brands, let's be clear, all Rolexes are not investment grade pieces. And you'll do yourself a disservice by just buying a watch, just thinking that it's going to automatically appreciate. So I would say, just make sure first, going back to point number one, just buying what you like. Make sure you like the watch first. If you are going to speculate and buy watches for investment, just make sure you do your research on the market, because it does fluctuate. And we can't predict what trends are going to be in the future. It may be a brand now that's on the rise that, you're not privy to, or that you're not focused on. And all of a sudden it could just take off.
FP Jordan.
FP Jordan, it could be an influence. Who knows? Maybe Travis Scott, walks the red carpet with a particular watch brand, and all of a sudden that watch brand takes off. So you're speculating. So,
Absolutely.
Just make sure you do your research. There are certain brands that historically hold their values, and also certain brands that, have appreciation, within certain watch models. So just make sure you know why you're doing it, and just make sure you do your research as well. So I'll say that. But yeah, knowing your why, every watch should definitely have a purpose of buying it, whether it's, because you want it, even if it's to, make money off of, totally fine.
Absolutely.
Just make sure that you know why.
Facts, brother.
Absolutely.
Number 3.
Oh man. So number three, I would say do your research. Make sure that you understand the brand and understand the heritage behind the brand, because all of the watches, they carry a specific brand DNA, and each watch has a certain design language.
Number 4, let's get to it. Knowing the movements, man. You got to master the movements. I remember, so before we started looking into this journey, man, I probably had like 2 or 3 watches, like maybe. And I probably wore like my Bulova Marine Star for like 3 years, not realizing. I thought all watches had batteries in them. That was just like me just using, deductive reasoning. My hypothesis was that that's the only way it could move is off a battery. So I didn't know if it was automatic, if it was coarse movements. But I think that, you should do a little bit of research and, mastering the movements. Now, before I move on, I want to just say this one thing.
Yep.
Do not try to judge a watch or look down on a watch because it's a coarse movement.
Right.
I could show you plenty of examples of luxury brands using quartz movement. That's a part of innovation. That's a part of watch history. I do not look down on
your
a watch.
favorite brand.
Your favorite brands.
Number 5. Key number 5 is curation over accumulation.
Oh yeah.
And this is key right here, because I know between the two of us in this year of diving into this watch collection journey, I mean, we've easily probably done touched and been through 50, 60 watches, from your $100 watch to your 20,000
five figure watches,
and everywhere in between. We've seen a lot of watches, and we've and one thing that we realize is that it's not about how many watches you have, because I had my watch box was full, but I realized, like, I don't truly love all these pieces. I'm just buying them because they look nice. Some pieces I'm buying less expensive versions of what I really want, just to see how it wears. But I truly don't enjoy this piece. I don't have a connection with this piece. I would be, much more fulfilled if I had few watches that I had a connection to and that truly meant something to me. When I looked at it, like, oh, this takes me back to, when I got married. This takes me back to, this trip I had to Chicago, or this takes me back to, this is the first allocation call I got. But, whatever the story it tells, you feel like I feel much more fulfilled by having a quality few as opposed to, 10, 20, 30 watches, and I only have a connection to, a subset of those pieces. So I would definitely say it's about curation. It's about, what do you want your collection to say? If there's a specific type of watch that you like, that's great. He can have a watch box full of chronographs if that's what speaks to you.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that. I think a thoughtful 5 watch collection is better than 15 or 20 scattered, all about. But I'm going to not push back. I'm going to give another point of view, right? Some people, their favorite part about watch collecting is collecting watches. The middle of the mall special watch. But no, really, like in real life, man, just if you're going to collect, goes back to being mindful, going back to, seeing what this would mean to you, and then take a step back and look at your collection and say, instead of saying like, what's the next watch I'm going to get, just say like, how does this make me feel with what I have? And then you'll figure out what the next steps would be for yourself. So that's all I got on that, man. We got,
let me add one last thing.
Sure.
Now, been about a year into this, when I buy watches, a lot of watches I buy, I see it and then I just like sit tight. And then like once I get to a point where it's like, all right, I've been looking at this watch long enough, I need to grab it.
Yeah.
That's when I buy it, because I'll see that watch and I'll see another one. And these watches are expensive. Even your entry level pieces start at like $1,000. That's a lot of money for a watch. Forget what people say. That's a lot of money for a watch. It's still $1,000.
$500.
Exactly. And it's all relative. I get that.
Yeah.
So you can't just go like that. I can't just buy every single watch I like. But once it gets to a point, no matter what the price point is, once it reaches a point where it's like, okay, I've been looking at this watch long enough, I need to go buy it.
Very well
then
said.
That's when I buy it. Or it's like, I got to get this. I got to get this. So absolutely, man.
It's going to eat away at you if you don't. Right?
Yeah.
Number 6, man. Buy the seller, not just the watch. Okay. Man, I've heard guys say this a lot, man. Whether it was
some horror stories.
Yeah, horror stories, man. I'm like, from Vuka, Moses the jeweler. A lot of those guys say it, but the person who said it the most to me is Roman Sharf, Luxury Bazaar. At some point, you start looking, as we do in our research, that I even heard like even Ben's watches say like, do not buy the cheapest watch that you see online. Like you're looking for a watch, and we're all, trust me, we're all making sure that we're being cost effective and managing our money. And if I see a watch, right, and it's normally retails for $2,500, and then you see that you could possibly get it for $1,500. That should be a red flag to you that maybe something's going on with that watch, especially when you see if that's an outlier. Now, if you see a range of those watches are going for around that price, then that's just the market value of the watch, right? But if you see an outlier where a watch is 50 or 60% off randomly, you're on eBay, that seller only has like 4 or 5 things they've sold from being on eBay in the last 30 days, and they have like 1 or 2 reviews, if any, that's probably should be a red flag that you shouldn't get that watch, right? So when you're looking at it, I would pay a little bit more fair market, but a little bit more to get it from a reputable dealer. Now, whether that means that's the AD for you, an authorized dealer, and what I mean by that, if you go to let's take Rolex and stuff out. Let's take Rolex out of the equation right now, because I know where your mind was going. Let's take Rolex and certain APs and Pateks off the table for a minute. If we're talking about like the Omega Speedmaster, for example,
Number 7.
Number 7, let's get it.
Providence Matters.
Providence.
And what I mean by that is the condition and documentation with your watch, it matters. When you hear people buying, they're saying, you hear all the time, boxing papers and, having that, that traceability. So when we say Providence, we're speaking to like the traceability and documentation as far as like the origins of the watch. And that's very important. It's important, more important to some than others. Me personally, especially if it's a modern watch, I want everything that came with the watch. Because why? Because why isn't it a complete set, right? So, and it also goes back to like our previous point of buying and selling by the watch. You'll come across some dealers that they'll try to nickel and dime you for every single thing they can. They'll separate the watch from the box.
Yep.
And try to squeeze you at every point. But it's, so that goes back to buying the dealer. But ultimately, as you get into these higher price points, you want to know that it's, authentic. And then also you want to know the history of the watch as well. The service history, when the watch was produced, when the watch was initially sold, is the watch under warranty or not? You want all of that documentation. Not only does it increase the resale value, but also it goes back to just, giving you, peace of mind. And then ultimately you want to make sure that, you're buying you're buying a good watch, the condition of the watch matters. I know personally, and we talk about this all the time, a lot of collectors, like watches in their original condition. They don't want them shined up or polished at all. I want my watch to look nice. So I know they say most watches have, 2 to 3 times it can get polished before it becomes detrimental to the watch. When I buy a watch, I want it to be shiny. I want it to be nice. I want it to be in the best condition possible. I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. But that's me. But as far as like, like I said, just as far as the, documentation and everything like that's a part of it. And I want that. It's literally the Carfax for your watch. It's the watch facts. So, I just came up with something there. Yeah, don't want me to watch facts. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, Providence is important for sure. You want all the documentation with your piece, especially when you're talking, you get into the thousands of dollars, for these watches. You want to make sure that there's a paper trail, where your watch has been. So
absolutely, man. I mean, I really don't have too much to add. Only thing I'll say is that as you start collecting more and more, so you have to take a look back in history, and this is what everything kind of ties back into each other. For example, we could use Rolex. Easy example.
Man,
it's a lot from the 60s and 70s and 80s that maybe even 90s that where people just threw their boxes and their papers away. You want to know why? Because they weren't valued the same way that they are now. So there are a lot of watches that you may try to get as a vintage, Rolex Datejust, Submariner, whatever the case may be, Daytona, GMTs, where those people weren't saving those boxes from these brands or the paperwork sometimes because they had no idea that they could be valued or appreciate and value the way they have over time. So when you do have something that has boxing papers, especially as beyond 20 or 30 years old, that's kind of important. But don't be afraid to purchase a watch that doesn't have boxing papers, right? Especially if you're a seasoned collector, you know what you're looking for. And then it goes back to what we were just talking about, where you're buying the seller. If I trust Moses the jeweler, if I trust Vukum, if I trust the watch guys, if I trust, Joe Schmo, who works at the local jeweler down here, because I've been working with him for a while. If I trust him, if I feel like he is they have watchmakers on staff where they can open up the piece and give me some information on it, and I feel like it's a quality deal, I will buy the watch, even if it doesn't have boxing papers. But to your point, yes, it has some significance and it has some importance as well. Number 8, value over price. Just because the watch price tag is very expensive does not mean that watch is better crafted than a watch half its price. A perfect example is that a well-made micro brand can outshine poorly executed luxury pieces. And this is where you start talking about Christopher Ward. This is where you bring in Christopher Ward and what they're able to accomplish.
They're on fire, by the way. They're on fire. Christopher Ward's on fire.
I wouldn't even call them a micro brand. I would say they're more independent, in my opinion.
They've elevated to end up for sure.
But even with that being said, if you're looking at for dive watches between $1,000 and $1,300, $1,400, and that's just with the recent increase as far as tariffs and taxes and things of that nature, you could get one of their Sealanders or whatever, C63 Sealanders. You used to get them for $1,000 or $1,100. They're around $1,300 or $1,400, and they're still very much worth it. The C12 integrated sports models. Wonderful. We mentioned the C60 that they just brought out. Super slim, under 7 meters as far as thickness of the watch. It is high quality. It kicks ass, guys. I'm sorry, but it does. They have their Bel Canto, their loco is competitively priced to the point to where for $5,000, you can get movements that Gruber Forsey is doing right now. Are you listening, Nardine? You are getting such high quality horology. I would dare to say that it's hot horology, that loco. And it doesn't matter that it's only $5,000. And $5,000, when I'm saying only, real quick, is relative. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're spending $20,000 for that kind of craftsmanship, people.
That was an Audemars. If that was an Audemars, that's a $40,000 watch, easy. Number 9. To be very concise, wear what you own.
Okay, now explain that to me. Wear what you own, right?
Wear what you own. Mm-hmm. So watches are made to be worn. Now, to be clear, if you buy the watch and you want it to sit in the safe, you feel like it's an investment piece, you want it to remain in pristine condition, by all means, go right ahead. Now, luxury watches are one of the rare asset classes that I've seen in which you can wear it and it's still worth more, still holds its value, because you can't do that with most goods that you get. Most cars that you get, you drive them, the value is going to halve the moment you drive it off the lot. You get a pair of shoes, the value is going to more than halve the moment you put your foot in them. But watches, they hold their value extremely well.
Yeah.
Wear what you own. It's cool that you have it. It's in the case. It's cooler when it's on your wrist.
Way
and you
cooler.
Can see it and appreciate it. So wear what you own.
I don't even have nothing to say to that, man. I drive my cars. I wear my shoes. If you are doing that, if you had an opportunity to get something and you feel like it's going to, I'm going to probably just do that from the beginning. I can't see me having a watch and it's sitting in the safe and I'm just one day my kids I'm wearing it. It's going to get some wear and tear from me, from wearing the watch. They're made to be worn. I can't agree less than that.
Yeah. When my son inherits all these pieces, one thing he going to look out like, damn, Dad wore the hell out of these watches. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Great guy to polish them for you.
Yeah. Do you got the time?
Yeah, it did. Hey guys, don't over polish your watches. Don't let bad polisher like people polish your watches. It's terrible. But you got
All
the
right, man.
time.
Go ahead and bring it. Go ahead and bring it on home, man.
And I
Number
hope
10.
you guys can tell with number 10, this is us. Like, just enjoy the journey. Like, don't rush the process. Don't try to skip a bunch of steps. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Be you, and how you can only be you. Wear what you like. It's good to get a general sense of things, right? So, like, I think rules are made to be broken.
Absolutely.
I think
You,
as we got
you
into this,
establish your own rules.
you establish your own rules. So, like, I have to know the rules to then say, I'm not probably going to do that, right? But at least you can know the aesthetics, right? So I can know the etiquette. I came into the watch culture, and there's different barriers. There's different things that people do because maybe that was classism, the different cultural backgrounds and things of that nature. But we had to just learn and adjust. As you are learning these things, recognize, well, oh, okay, I could get with that, or I won't, because it's going to be up to you. There is no finish line on this journey. You're not racing and sprinting to get into something. I had to totally remove a lot of watches out of my catalog in my collection because I was just like, I need to touch it, I need to get it, I need to have it, I need to buy it. Like, just because I like something don't mean I have to buy it myself.
Come on.
I can get an experience with it. I can sit with it. I can learn more about it. I can talk to, the retailers or the authorized dealers about the watch, but that doesn't mean I have to physically own or buy that watch.
And
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, sometimes, especially with us working together, I like when I hear like, "Oh, I got a True North." Cool.
Let me see that.
We can swap. Like, hey, and that's the cool thing too. You got other collectors like, hey, let's swap for a week. Let me wear it, so you can swap them out. That's the cool thing. So I hear like, oh, Rio called me. Oh, I got this. Cool. One of my other friends called me, and I'll just say the coolest thing about this journey is that there's so many people that are coming along with this on this journey. People that or that wanted to create content, and people that just wanted to collect watches and didn't know where to start.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the dopest part, the doors that is open for us. And I like when my friends say, "Oh, I got this watch." Did you?
Did you really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You call and say, "Oh, you got you a sub, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
You got you a Datejust with the blue dial. Okay. I haven't rocked that yet. Let's swap that out.
Let's meet up.
Whatever it is, yeah. But no, it's like, man, you've echo everything that you just said, man. Just enjoying the journey. There's no finish line. If you're just starting out, like we are, and I'll say even a year in, we're still at the beginning of this journey. But I know in the very beginning, like, you're probably going to start, compiling a list of pieces that you like. You're going to buy a watch, and then you see another watch, like, oh, I should have got that watch. There's going to be new editions of the watch that you have coming. Like, it just never stops.
Never.
So,
and your taste change over time too.
Your tastes are going to change over time, and it's just enjoy the journey.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the journey, man. It's fun, but also be responsible as well. Be responsible on this journey because it is a slippery slope. And then also, I would just say, as far as enjoying the journey, just realize, like, these pieces are not going anywhere.
Nope.
They may go up as far as the cost. So they may go up, but they're not going anywhere. They're around. So just make sure you're enjoying the journey and having fun with it. And that's all I got. That's all I got.
Man. Another great episode, brother.
Man, another great episode. This is great, man. We have a lot more in store for you guys. Thank you for staying tapped in with the watchers. Until next time.
We out.